Yeah, it's a light. Hey guys, got Level here, and today we're gonna be unboxing and reviewing the brand new Elgato ring light. Now, full disclaimer, Elgato actually sent me this one, so I did not pay for it. That being said, there was no monetary transaction. I'm not being paid. I haven't signed any formal contract with Elgato. So everything that I'm gonna say in this video is my own opinion. Let's start. So the Elgato ring light comes in this huge box. So when you open the box, the first thing you're gonna see is this huge manual. I guess it's like a just huge thing of cardboard that tells you everything that you need to know. Then you'll find the ring light, the actual stand, the ball head, and the DC adapter. On top of that, you will also find a bunch of adapter heads. Those are for different countries, for different plugs. We have EU, there's NA, there's UK, and then there's a bunch of other weird ones. You just screw that into the DC adapter and then you plug it in. You're good to go. The light itself, when you grab it, it's very thin. Actually, I didn't realize how thin it would be, but it's pretty thin. It's robust. You can feel that it's, hard. I don't know if it's plastic or aluminum, or it's probably a mix of both. It definitely does not feel full metal, but it feels like it could probably sustain a couple of falls. Okay, when you turn it upside down, at the bottom, you can see there is the plug for the DC adapter. In the middle, you will have the thread. That's a 1/4" thread, just universal photo thread. And then you'll have this multi-purpose switch. So one will turn it on, one will turn it off, and then the two little stripes is actually to reset it in case you mess it up. So they made it idiot proof pretty much. Now, just like that, the design is pretty cool, but I feel I don't like the adapter placement. I feel like the plug should be right behind the thread so that the cable would go behind the actual table mount. It's a product for content creators and gamers, and we kind of care about our setup and our cable management. So in that case, the way that it's placed makes it just fall down near the mount. So you'll have an arm, and then on the side of the arm, you'll have a cable. I wish it was right behind it so that it would immediately hide the cable. All right, and in the middle, on top of the logo, you have another 1/4" thread, so you can put any of your own ball heads, because I remember watching Epo's Vox video, and he was saying that this was a cheap ball head that they actually give you with it, and I kind of agree. It's not super cheap, it's not like those $7 ones that you can get on Amazon that are plastic, but it is definitely not like those $25, $30 ones either. For this price, I would expect to have, at least semi-professional grade ball heads, especially if you're gonna put a DSLR. Like, I have a Sony ZV-1, I have a Logitech C920, that's fine, but like, I have this Canon T2i. I am not putting my T2i on this. I don't trust it. I just don't trust it. That being said, I like that the one knob actually controls both the ball head, but also controls the rotation. All right, so on each side of that 1/4" screw, you will find two buttons, the plus and minus, which are used to adjust both the brightness, but also the color temperature. Not at the same time, obviously. You actually have to press both of them at the same time to switch between those modes. The light actually flickers, well, it pulsates in a way, because it's like a slow flicker and a gradient flicker, and it gets pretty bright. So close your eyes or look away when you're about to press those two buttons, because even if you have the light low, when you press them, it flickers like pretty high. So I had to learn that the hard way. Setting it up was actually super easy. It took like 5 minutes. Just put the arm on your desk and then screw the ring light on top of the arm, and then you're good. Now that arm is actually, it actually goes like even higher, but it's already too high. I feel like the base of the arm, the minimum length is already like top of your monitor height, which, as you can see in my setup, doesn't work that well. But for now, for this review, I'm gonna keep it like that, probably for a couple of days. But at some point, if I actually want to use it, I will probably be using another mount. I probably have like a mini tripod that I can just sit it on the desk. That being said, it is pretty sturdy. I've heard people say that it was kind of wobbly. It does wobble a little bit, but not as much as if you were to do like a DIY solution of it. I actually checked out the bottom of the arm, and I believe it's also a 1/4" thread. But anyways, one thing is for sure is that there are 3 attachment points from the bottom of that arm to the actual table clamp. There are 3 points that are attached, so that helps with the wobble for sure. But that being said, you can definitely get you know, a cheap 1/4 inch desk mount and then put a monopod on it. Anyways, we're gonna talk about DIY later. Now, another complaint about cable management. Thank God I got a lot of tech from the microphone company Fifine that actually gives you some cable ties. Also, Toner also gives me cable ties. So I ended up putting a couple of cable ties just to make it a little cleaner. You do cable management on your ring light. And once it's plugged in, you can switch it on with the button at the bottom, and it actually takes like 10 seconds to boot up the first time. So of course I didn't read the manual. So I thought, okay, it just doesn't work. So yeah, you have to wait the first time you actually turn it on. And then after that, it will take, I guess, 1-2 seconds to boot up every single time, which is kind of weird for a light, but hey, this is a Wi-Fi enabled light. When it comes to the intensity, it is actually like, it gets pretty bright. Like it's Elgato, they're using like OSRAM light strips, you know it's gonna get super bright. But in this case, it is a gradual 10 or 11 levels. I checked. The lowest level, we'll call it level 1, is not off. So you can't completely turn it off by just lowering it. You have to manually turn it off. When you press the 2 buttons, you can switch, and then you adjust the color temperature by tapping on those buttons again. I probably don't have footage for this, so I should probably be demonstrating all that. I keep accidentally grabbing it and turning it off. I'm gonna make it bright, and you're gonna see how long it takes to actually turn on. So now it's turned off, and yeah, 2 to 3 seconds. So it gets really, really bright. And right now I have like that was accidental. I have my DIY ring light that is also super, super bright. This is like level 11. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can't really tell because my light is shining on it, but it's just super dim, like super, super, super dim. Like you could sleep with that on. That being said, something that I tried to do is speed run it. I tried pressing 10 times super fast to see if it would keep up. It doesn't. If you try to get it to like the max super fast and you go, it only got up like 2 levels there, even though I pressed way more than that, you know? Still not at the top. There's a little bit of delay. It's not a huge issue unless you're always in a hurry and you're always changing your light. Okay, we talked about the color temperature, so I'm gonna press both. You see how it flashes twice? Well, that's weird, but of course you can make it blue. It doesn't get blue, it just gets very white. So when a color temperature, you can get pretty yellow. You can't see. Give me a second. There you go. Let me make it bright. Oh, it's so hard. My camera is not picking it up because of my white balance, but maybe like look at the color that it gives on my skin. So color temperature mode, I'm gonna make it as, yeah, at this point for me, as you can see how red the light seems to be, it's like orange for me now, right? You can see that how orange it is on my skin. And then you can just turn it back to just plain white. There you go. All right, so Elgato claims that it is easy on the eyes, and except when you're pressing those those buttons together. It is actually, the technology is that they have the LEDs inside, I believe, or outside, I don't remember. And that means that all the light you're seeing is actually reflected. There's no LEDs pointing towards your eyeballs directly at all. So that's really cool. The brightness is great. I haven't done all the field testing yet, but I believe them when they say there's no flickering. It's OSRAM is one of the best companies when it comes to lighting, for sure. The arm is pretty high quality. It's just this thing here, this little thing right here, that is not great. I really wouldn't put my big cameras on this thing. Okay, so a little fun fact. Yesterday I let it run for about an hour, and it gets hot. It gets really hot. Like, it gets not warm to the touch, it gets hot to the touch. So that is something to keep in mind. I'm pretty surprised, but I guess that's what happens when you turn it up level 10 and then you just leave it for hours. So if you're a live streamer, keep that in mind. That being said, if you're a live streamer, you probably shouldn't have this full power for the whole stream. But the fact that it's reflected light can be, you know, easier on the eyes. It helps a lot. So the quality that you actually get, because of course I need to show you what it does. Okay, so I turned off my main ring light, and if you're gonna buy this light to turn it on the side like that, don't talk to me. If you want a light to be on this side and give you soft shine, buy a light panel. The ring light, you're actually paying for the shape and for the type of light it is. And the type of light it is not that, okay? I've seen other streamer gurus give that advice. You're throwing money in the trash if you're doing that. Light panels are actually cheaper than ring lights. So if you're using a ring light as a light panel, it's kind of like you're using an iPad as a mouse pad. Okay, I know it says pad, it doesn't serve the same function. Anyways, so if we put it here, now we really get that ring light effect, right? And since this one is bright, it actually gives you a lot of distance. But the cool thing that you need to know is that if you use this properly, meaning that your camera is at the center of this, you don't technically need any other face light, because of the way the light is, you know, it's very diffuse. It's one of the most diffuse ring lights that you can buy right now because of the technique that you use. But you don't need other face lights if you're using this one. I'm gonna make it a little brighter, for example, and boom. And all you need, the rest that you need is just, you know, room light, you know, decoration light, colored light if you want. You know, you won't be investing too much in other lights. All right. That being said, it is pretty cool for beauty. Someone on Twitter asked me, does it make that melanin pop? Honestly, it does. You know, it really does. And right now, I'm not even showered, okay? But of course, if you're doing like makeup, you have the circles in the eyes, but also, yeah, if you're doing gaming, I'm guessing you're gonna be a little far away from it. You can just bump up, you know, if you really want to do this like that. But it's completely fine. It is really easy on the eyes, as they say. It's not, they don't lie there. Of course, my camera is a Sony ZV-1, so it's gonna look prettier than like a normal webcam, but still, my point stands that between this and that, like, don't use that. Use a light panel. Okay, now that being said, let's talk about the whole system of Elgato. You know, if you have this light, you can control it with a Stream Deck, you can control it with the Stream app. This is a Wi-Fi enabled device. Of course, you can use it with the buttons or control it with Wi-Fi, pretty much, right? It has to connect to your Wi-Fi at some point. There's no cable that goes to your computer. So if you are like me and you don't have one of those new motherboards that come with Wi-Fi, or, you know, you're a gamer, you live stream, that means you're plugged in with your Ethernet cable and you don't use Wi-Fi to stream because Wi-Fi is unreliable. I don't have internet on my desktop, but that's fine, right? Because you guys have phones, right? You actually have to get the app. If you guys watch my stream, you know that most of my lights are voice controlled. Well, they are smart lights that I can control with my phone. And I may not be able to control the Elgato ring light with their app or my Stream Deck, even though I know myself and I know that I'm gonna use like one light intensity. I'm not gonna be using a ton of them. With my specific system right now, I can say, Alexa, turn off ring light. And this is what happens. And did you know, oh, let me turn it on. Turn on ring light. And I may not be able to control the intensity, but I can turn it on and off. Do you know how much money that cost me to make this happen? To make basically this ring light compatible with my Alexa? Well, it cost me about $5. I'm using what's called a Sonoff switch. It's a Wi-Fi switch that I can control with my Amazon devices. I can also control it with my phone. Okay, you see this one? And look at that, with a free app. With a free app. And that also means that if I can have a switch that is $5 that can turn it on and off, surely there must be some switches that can control the intensity. Maybe not for this light, but if I were to make a DIY version. All right, anyways, so my thoughts are, is this worth it? If this is your first light, well, technically, it's a light that if you buy it, you do not need to worry about lighting your face anymore. So $200 approximately it's worth it. It's worth it if you have that kind of money. Now, if you do not have that kind of money, will another type of ring light, for example, like those cheap ones on Amazon work? Yes, but it's not the same technology. You will not get as soft as light as you get with this. It will not be as easy on the eyes, but will it work? 100%. Will your viewers see the huge difference? Probably not at all. And can you make a DIY? Well, I'm gonna try to prove that in another video, so make sure you turn that notification bell after you subscribe to not miss it. I want to make a DIY Elgato ring light inspired basically with the same system, And I want it to be controllable by Wi-Fi too, with my phone. And of course, be voice controlled by my Amazon Echo or Google Assistant, by the way, because this is compatible with everything and the apps are free. It's a great light. It's really a great light. I might end up actually using it for my setup, because I'm using a DIY ring light right now, but I kind of went overboard with it. It is way too bright. It is also way too big. It's hard to move around, so I kind of like this system right there. That being said, if you do not plan on having the whole Elgato ecosystem, maybe it's not for you. If you don't want to have a Stream Deck, or if you have another solution for a Stream Deck, if you have another solution for this and that, and you don't want everything to have to do with Elgato, go with something else. But keep in mind that there are some features that are unique to this ring light, because I think that was the biggest question. I see people going crazy on Twitter about, oh, over expensive. Maybe it's expensive products exist. Okay, as I was a professional photographer, this is nothing. This is a cheap light, you know. Elgato doesn't just create every other typical ring light and then make it expensive. That's not what happened there. All right, I actually wanted this review to be like 5 minutes, but it's impossible because I get on rambling. Anyways, if you really want to see that DIY, let me know. Let me know in the comment section below. I'm gonna do it anyways, but please let me know in the comment section below. Follow me on social media because I will be posting some updates. If you're looking for some dope overlays to make your Twitch channel look good, go to gumroad.com/getlevel. I might post a little Halloween special soon. Maybe if I get the time, but it will be there. gumroad.com/getlevel. Anyways, again, huge thank you for Elgato for trusting me with their products and trusting my opinion on their product and sending me this thing, because they really don't have to. Again, I'm not an Elgato partner. This is not a sponsored video. I've never been sponsored by Elgato actually, and they still send me those products for free just to see what I can do with them, and I appreciate that very much. I really do. That being said, stay tuned for the DIY version. I will see you guys next time. Go out there, make me proud. Get level out.